What's up, everybody? So some show dates, February 21st, that is this coming Saturday, I'm doing a patrons-only Zoom preview of my new stand-up show, Anti-Fascist Pasta Night. Again, that is on Zoom. You just got to be a patron. You can join over at patreon.com/romplaco. My Patreon is a give what you can level. And April 4th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Anti-Fascist Pasta Night in Pittsburgh. You can get tickets and more information at romplacone.com. And last announcement, Left at Wall is out now. It's on a bunch of platforms, whatever platform you want to watch it, check it out. But I recommend Tubi, because Tubi is free. You can't go wrong. A free anti-capitalist comedy on Tubi, Left at Wall. Check it out. All right, enjoy today's episode. Episode 127, Sarah O'Connell. Sarah O'Connell is a show host, writer, and movie reviewer. I had the honor of being a guest on her show. She's an incredible interviewer. She noticed things about Loner and Left at Wall that I didn't even think of. She's interviewed some of the biggest actors in the world. This is her story. Please welcome to the show, Sarah O'Connell.
Sarah O'Connell, how nice to see you again. Thanks for doing this show.
Well, Ron Placone, thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast. I love it, and I'm very excited and honored to be a part of it.
Right on. Well, yeah, and it's fun to flip the script because I did your show. I think it was 2024. I did your show, which is a brilliant show. Thank you. You have an amazing list of guests. I'm honored to be among them. And yeah, you just do a great show. You asked me so many really cool questions. I hope I can come close to the caliber of questions for you that you did for me.
Just ask me the exact same ones.
I'm going to ask you the exact same ones.
They're also all weirdly relevant to me, and I don't know why. I've been copying your career quite closely.
So, I like to start at the beginning. So, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Give me a little bit of my parents. I'm from my parents. They fell in love, and 9 months later, I fell out. That first day, I don't really remember much of it. I was kind of just looking upwards. I think the doctors did a few tests to check if I was deaf or anything like that, because I wasn't crying, and that was an initial concern. So that was like a day one thing for me. But I was fine. Okay. I was just happy. I was taking it all in, you know. Mm-hmm. And then day two, everyone was kind of busy. It was Christmas Eve at that point, and day three, Christmas Day, you know, it was a very exciting first 3 days on this planet for me.
Nice. And you're Sagittarius.
Well, so I've been Capricorn my entire life, but if you believe the new thing that there's a new planet or a new whatever and everything shifted, then I'm a different thing. I do not know.
Oh, okay. All right. So I didn't know. I know I'm a Sagittarius, but I'm earlier in December. So I don't remember when the cutoff is.
Right. But so if you've been that your entire life, you haven't shifted it because they moved everyone round one.
I don't know. I've always been a Sagittarius, like it's all my whole life. And I don't understand all the like details around it. Like I don't understand. My wife's kind of into it, but I don't get the whole, there's a rising sign and like another sign. Like I just know like based on the day you were born, you're that, like, that's all I know. I'm a Sagittarius. I guess you're a Capricorn because I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't recall when the
whatever
cutoff
that means.
is. But yeah. Well,
one of those.
Do you fit a lot of the Capricorn like generalizations? Like does it?
Yeah, like I was born on a certain day, which fits being one of them, and I don't know the others. Probably they always.
You don't know the details.
Well, it's kind of like I know have known two other people that were born on the same day as me, and I would suggest they're almost aggressively different. We're really not anything like each other. Apart from we're usually busy on the same day, so that we have that.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of fun, but I think I'll read a lot of the, attributes of a Sagittarius, and I'll be like, oh, a lot of that applies to me. But then you kind of wonder how much of it really does apply to you versus how much of it is just so broadly written that most people could be like, oh, yeah, that's me.
I think you should just start taking it as instructions. Today, you're going to meet someone and fall in love. Okay, I wasn't planning to, but I'll go out actively. Okay, fine. I mean, I'm married, but I mean, it says what it says, so I'm going to have to.
The sign says so. Sorry. Yeah. You got to do it now.
That McDonald's drive-thru, I'm going to make extra effort. So. Can I take your order? Yes, I'd like to settle down today, please.
That'll be. I'm not. Is that on the menu? I don't know. I'm confused.
I don't know. That's up to them to answer, really.
They got to figure that out. Feel bad for them.
Yeah, it might be their secret menu or something. I don't
know. Well, so what's your hometown? Like, what part of the world did your parents?
I'm doxing myself. So loosely in the south of England, in merry old England. I'm from there.
All right. And then you just kind of what was growing up? What were some of your first hobbies? What were some of your first, what led you to the creative quilt we see today?
Sure. Thank you. That's the nicest way people have described my skin, actually. So thank you for that. Look at your creative quilt.
That's what I just call what everybody does.
Yeah.
I just say like creative quilt because that's like the easiest.
I get confused with tents quite a lot and things like that. It's fine.
Someone says creative tent, you're like, what's...
Yeah.
I'm more of a quilt guy.
I know, right? So growing up, I was very into art and movies and TV and stuff like that. And I originally inspired to get into animation. And so I used to watch every single Disney video as they were at the time, back, just relentlessly and try and learn everything I could. And I was just fascinated by movies and always forcing my parents to take me to see the latest films and rent out literally everything. And that was kind of my childhood, to be honest. And then I went to college and studied art and media studies and all that good stuff. And then I went to university, got a degree in animation, and then it's a very exciting moment in my life. The studio that I always dreamed of working in closed the month I graduated.
Wow.
Yeah, how rude was that? Thanks, Disney.
Yeah. What the hell, Disney? Why'd you have to do that?
What the hell?
They couldn't have held out a little longer.
I was getting so good. I was the person who needed to stay open. Just give it one more month.
Yeah, at least let you get
around.
Right. Yeah, you could have gotten some entry-level experience, turned the whole thing around. Well, what was the studio?
4 to 6 years, I could have produced something. So it was. I think they were in Florida. It was the studio that had just made Lilo and Stitch, and I loved that movie, and I just loved their style and everything. And it was going back to the kind of animation that I really loved. They'd been doing more serious films for a few years. Like Treasure Planet and Atlantis and stuff like that. But I found that Lilo and Stitch was kind of the kind of stuff that I wanted to do. So I was very excited to apply to the place that stopped existing.
So what was it about Lilo and Stitch that like you kind of felt, I mean, it's a great movie, but from an animation standpoint, like what was it about it that was the particular, I really love this style?
It was just growing up watching things like Bugs Bunny and these maniacal characters that would just do anything and defy physics and, be able to walk up walls and do crazy stuff. It just had a bit more edge, as much as you can get for a Disney cartoon, I think. It wasn't just that, bearing in mind I was very much at university when that film came out. I just loved it. And at the time, it made sense for me to want to apply to go there. But I had, I watched everything growing up, like manga stuff like Akira and just anything I could get my hands on, and Aardman animation and all that good stuff.
So how old were you when you kind of first got into the process of animation? Because it's a very long process.
I'm still only on my second drawing. I'm quite tedious at it, but
right.
The problem is I slightly misunderstood. I thought you had to, because I was trying to save money, I've been doing every drawing on the same page, and apparently that's wrong. I made a terrible mistake. Made a 3-hour film, and it's getting a mess.
Can't even find where the initial lines are now.
Yeah. So I used to just draw in my spare time, which I had a lot of, obviously, because I was a kid. And I used to get comic books and just try and draw any character. And I'd pause a movie I was watching of people just in any position and just try and draw it and draw them at different angles and doing different expressions and stuff like that. And, you know, I'd stare out the window and spend half a day drawing every single branch and twig on the tree in our garden. And I just loved art and observing the universe and trying to capture it as much as I can, but also make it fun. So it's not just, to me, it's kind of boring just capturing something exactly how it is. I don't feel like I'm saying or expressing anything, but, you know, if I can sort of put my personality into it in some way, that's kind of like why I enjoyed doing animation. And I used to do a lot of caricatures. And for me, if somebody annoyed me, it was a really good way of just venting that. So.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to me because I actually had a painter on this show not too terribly long ago, and I'm very just awed by people who can do that kind of thing, because I'm one of those people, I can't draw a stick figure well to save my life. Like, I can't draw anything. I didn't have the eye for it. You know, I was always just more of like a writer, and that was it.
But whatever you do draw, you're really good at drawing that thing. So the stick figure comes out wrong, but you've drawn something else, and
I've drawn a bad stick figure.
Yeah.
If you need a bad stick figure, I'm your guy. I got it.
You're good at that.
Yes.
You're looking at it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Like nothing. I mean, one time I drew a Ninja Turtle, and it was just so bad. And people were like commenting on how bad it was. And then I realized, I'm like, well, if you need a really bad Ninja Turtle, that's just so terrible. Yeah. You're like, what?
Like a villainous one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it definitely looked villainous. Like the size didn't make any sense. They were just sort of like levitated on his hands. And the mask didn't, I mean, it looked ridiculous. And I drew it as an adult. It's not like this was some childhood drawing. This was an adult drawing.
I can't believe you try and draw a 6-foot anthropomorphic Ninja Turtle and make it look ridiculous. How could you do that?
I know. I was going out on a limb just on the premise itself.
That's the problem. Maybe if you weren't on a limb drawing it, it'd just be easier to sit down at a table. Like,
yes, I know. I was drawing it on my hand. What am I doing? What am I doing?
Well, if you draw it on your hand kind of like this, you can make it talk. So
that, you know what? Maybe that's what I need to get into. More
and it's
like
kind of the shape of a Ninja Turtle's head. Just draw a bandana on it, you're done.
Yep. No, that's a good point. That's a really good point. All right, so your dream studio is closed, and you're done with university at this point.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Where was university?
Okay, so I'm from Southampton, and I went to a university in Southampton, and so I can't get out of it at this point because it's the same place. So I studied animation there.
Mm-hmm. And then the studio
where I originate from. The studio has closed. Yes.
What were your thoughts on? I asked this question as an American. What were your thoughts on potentially living in Florida? Like, did you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, so at the time, I'd been to America once. I went. Okay. I got a credit card, and I'd heard that Michael Jackson was doing 2 concerts in 2001 with the Jackson 5, and not only that, but Whitney Houston and Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake and Destiny's Child and Samuel L. Jackson were going to be there, and Macaulay Culkin and all these people that I'd grown up watching and loving and all that kind of thing. So being a sensible student, I got a credit card, completely maxed it, made a 2-hour phone call. I was on the beach the day the tickets went on sale, got tickets, went to New York. That was my first time there. I'd loved America. I'd always hoped and dreamed to go there. When I was growing up, all my favorite shows were made there. And so at the time, I wasn't as politically aware, let's say. And the idea of just going there and, near Orlando where Disney World is and all that kind of stuff, I'd never been there. And the idea of it at the time was exciting. And I was just going to go there and draw and get a tan and all that good stuff.
Right on. So when you find out the animation studio's closed, what happens next for you?
I've just been drinking for 2 decades. It's a disaster. I've done nothing. This is
it really hit you hard.
Yeah, I thought I was going to leave the house then. It's like, no, I'm doing it in my house. I'm still here. So I just,
Is the podcast from home? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, fine.
So I have done some stuff since that. So.
Well, did you Yeah, no, go ahead. So what was the alternative when the studio was closed?
So it was, the internet had only been popular for several years because I'm several hundred years old at this point. And in my spare time, I know, you look incredible. And well, it depends on what point you're listening to this, right? You could be listening to it in 200 years time, in which case it's fairly accurate.
It's accurate. Yeah. Yeah.
So in my spare time, I used to, because I still love films and all that kind of stuff, I used to do film reviews just to express my thoughts on them. And I started getting invited to press screenings, which is great. I was getting to watch movies for free. Exciting.
And where was this?
Oh, that was in London.
Okay, so you went to London.
I'm in London.
I dare say London over Orlando was a blessing in disguise for you. I dare say that. It's I'd take London just a little bit.
Not in terms of my tan, it didn't help. I just got
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, weather-wise, yeah, that's a factor. But yeah, everything else,
except for the summer, it can get ridiculously hot.
Sure. Yeah, especially in our changing climate.
Yeah, it's a problem. Should probably do something about that.
We should.
And I'm going to write a note. I'm going to do it after this. I'm going to fix that.
Let's both write a letter, and then I think it'll be fine. I think if we
I'm openly just burning gas in my garden for no reason.
Well, as long as you're composting.
Yeah, instead of heating up inside my house, I just try and heat up all of outside.
There you go. I mean, yeah, because then that'll help out everything else.
Exactly.
It'll make everything else warm.
So I started getting invited to screenings, and then I got invited to some press junkets and conferences and things like that. And I started interviewing people as well. And at the time, I wasn't filming anything. I was just recording the audio, and everyone, this is the early 2000s. People were just putting little recording devices on tables and dictating out what everyone had said afterwards and writing a very long transcript, which I wasn't a massive fan of, but that's kind of how I started doing interviews and things like that. It went quite well, and I continued doing it, and I worked with some companies for money and stuff. And then fast forward several decades, I decided to launch a YouTube channel and film it so I don't have to write it down.
So how long has the Sarah O'Connell Show been around?
So in May this year, it will be 10 years.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So what made you like kind of
my parents?
What made you decide?
These questions are easy. Allegedly, I don't really remember.
Do you what made you decide you're going to do a YouTube channel versus, say, just an audio podcast? Like what kind of led to you wanting to, dive into the YouTube space?
Oh, so, I've always been a visual person back from when I was doing animation, and I still draw and paint and stuff in my spare time. And, I like the idea of being able to have film clips on it, or, display my art or talk about different things. And it just made sense for me at the time to do that. And I like the idea, if I'm going to interview someone, I just have, no offense, you're doing a podcast, but I'm going to a film premiere. I want to show that I've interviewed the person, right? So it made sense.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, we do. This podcast does audio and video. Like we do a little bit of both. But so how would you say? And I know this is kind of a loaded question, but how would you say that YouTube has evolved in particular over the past 10 years? Because it's definitely, as someone who has dwelled in that space in various capacities myself, it's, it's just night and day to what it was, I would say, even like 8 years ago. So what have you seen?
Well, I'd say at the moment there's a lot more emphasis on short form videos, with things like TikTok and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. They reward you, I guess, if you do short form videos. A lot of videos online seem to be really clickbaity. So you'll get a photo of just anything, like a crowd of people, and it will have like a circle around something, and it won't really make sense, and you're clicking it to find out what's being circled, and the video never addresses it. Or, there'll be these really tabloidy headlines for the video to try and get you to watch the thing. And yeah, it's kind of like that, but I've tried to avoid doing that so that nobody accidentally finds my show and watches it.
Well, how has it been like navigating? Like, was it easier to attract the right people like 10 years ago, or is it easier now, or is it like
so it's easier for me now because I've interviewed over 300 people, and so obviously my list of people that I can say that I've interviewed and have been on my show and perhaps even been back on my show has grown quite a lot. And it's been quite nice because sometimes people will go on my show and then they're off doing something else. They might be at an event or working on a film, or if they're a comedian, they might be backstage and talking about things they've done, and they might recommend my show. And there's been instances where people have contacted me to ask if they can come on, which is lovely. And yeah.
So, I mean, I will boldly ask you this, like because you have a lot of A-listers that you've interviewed. All of them. You've interviewed all of them.
Everyone.
There's not one.
No, every guest on my show is an A-lister to me. Who decides who an A-lister is? I think I should be in charge of that list. So,
did they put you in charge of it?
I think I just did.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Well, that's good to know because, I know you. So awesome.
Congratulations. Yeah, I'm including you in that list.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. I've never, but yeah, you've gotten some very, well-known people, some people that are doing, very prominent things. So how did you kind of go about building that library?
So as I say, I've always loved entertainment and stuff like that. And I'd been doing things anyway. It wasn't that this was the first thing I did. I'd been doing it for well over a decade at that point anyway. Mm-hmm. And I'd befriended a lot of comedians and just people online. Like I'd speak to animators or film directors and script writers, and, they'd share their work with me sometimes perhaps, and kind of just got to know each other as friends. And so when I first started doing it, I invited my friends on the show. So it was comedians that were well-known or, script writers or whoever it was. And then, so I launched my show in May. And I think in October, one of my guests was called Tom Cruise. And apparently that helped.
Yeah, he's, so how did you cross paths with him?
Really weird. I was at this film premiere and he decided to go to it too.
Okay.
Yeah, it turned out it was like kids or something. And then I was genuinely really lucky because so there's a red carpet, and on one side they have the fans and on the other side they have journalists, and how they kind of place people is so they'll have the biggest publications at one end and the TV shows and all that kind of thing. And then as you get further and further and further down, you'll have like online people, and then you'll have the people cleaning the red carpet, and then you go a bit further and I'm there, which is great. And then so it got to the point where they were getting ready for all the stars to go into the cinema for the screening. And they said, we're really sorry, everyone, but we're going to have to group people into groups of 10, so 10 publications together. And then Tom will come over and he will only have time to take like a couple of questions, and it will just be however it works out. And the rest of you can just film it. For some inexplicable reason, Tom Cruise walked over to me. So, yeah.
Wow.
That helped.
What was your question? Do you remember?
It was just something about Jack Reacher too.
Okay, all right.
I haven't watched the interview in a while, but it was
Well, he must have liked the question.
I hope relevant, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if he came on the or the YouTube show later, he must have liked the question.
No, that was the only time he was on it. Just to explain.
That was the only time. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, that counts.
Absolutely, that counts.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. That is awesome. And then you spent some time, you did live in the United States for a little bit.
I did,
right?
Yes. I lived in
So how did that happen? Like what happened?
How did that happen? Okay, so we need to rewind a bit now. Okay. So I mentioned I was reviewing films and going to press junkets and things like that. And then I started getting invited to other things for just any a press company, a PR company may work on games and like board games and toys and films and just everything. And they might go, are you interested in going to this event? I know it's not really what you do, but you just want to come and check it out, blah, blah, blah. So I started getting invited to video game events as well. And at one of them, I interviewed a creative director who was working on a wrestling game. And we kept in contact for the next year, not for any particular reason other than, so I was sent a copy of the game and I'd give them feedback on it, not for anything public, but just, I was sending feedback as I was playing this game. And he liked my feedback and said a job was coming up on the creative team. Would I like to do an interview for it? So I was like, okay. So that sounded interesting. So he flew over to London and interviewed me. That went well, and they flew me over to LA, and I was interviewed by the entire team. They seemed to love me for some reason, and I got the job. So wow. I went from being at university to my first job being a producer in LA. So I did that for like a year and a few months until my visa ran out, and then I went back to the UK. And then I worked in the games industry for about a decade at different companies, and I used to go on PR tours, and I went all around Europe and America, and went to Russia twice. I went to Australia, and that kind of stuff.
Wow. So what was the gig exactly? Like were you just like demoing these games at events or like
yeah, so pretty much. So before, when I was in LA, I was a producer, so I was in charge of the games. 2 of the games were being developed in Japan, and one of them in Chicago, one in Arizona. And so it was just lots of various different things you had to do. It'd be gameplay tuning and reviewing the artwork and getting assets from licensees and making sure that the developers in Japan got it, and just lots of different stuff, and just putting the game together and overseeing it and making sure it did well. And then I moved more into sort of PR and marketing and that kind of stuff. So doing product demonstrations and things like that, and working out how to promote games.
How much were you traveling during those periods? Like was it just a constant on the road type job?
Sometimes 3 countries a week. I think my record was I went to Germany 5 times 1 month, which I would say is kind of bad planning, but it's fine.
Yeah, right.
Just see me there for a week, but I was going there for like 1 or 2 days, flying back, and they're like, "Oh, we would like you to come back and do something else." The last event was amazing. And I think the busiest couple of weeks I had was I had been to several countries in Europe. Then I went to San Francisco for a week and I got really sunburnt. And then I went to Moscow and I went there with my sunburn and it was beyond freezing. And then I came back for, I think, 2 days. So I came back on like the Thursday or something. And then it's like Friday, Saturday, I just went out with some friends and we were in a nightclub. Midnight, my phone rings and they're like, "Hey, would you mind going to Australia on Monday morning?" I was like, "I guess so." So I did that. So I went to Australia and back in 5 days and worked 4 of them.
Wow. That is quite an itinerary. I mean, some of the most traveled, like extensive road comics I know don't have an itinerary that touches that one. That is remarkable. Well, how long did you do that for?
The traveling, I'd say intensively 5 years.
5 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So what made you kind of step away from all that? Like what happened there? Like when did you?
I wanted to. It was too much travel, yeah. And then the jobs I got after that were office based, so I didn't have to do that. I'd travel around England and do different things, but I felt that after 5 years of extensive travel like that, I didn't want to do it anymore. And I was still in my spare time doing film stuff and interviewing people, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And then I got to a point I was like, I just want to do my own thing. I've worked on other people's products a lot, and I feel like I've learned a lot, and I want to just apply it to something that I create myself.
Mm-hmm. So that was when you really just leaned into the YouTube channel.
Yeah, and as I said, I'd been doing that for over a decade and made like so many contacts. Just going about my life and just interacting with the things I enjoyed. It could just be that I used to go to a lot of stand-up comedy shows, and if I thought a comedian was great, I would celebrate them and say, "Hey, I just saw this person on stage for 20 minutes. I've just seen they've got a tour out. I'm excited to see it, and I think you'd probably enjoy it too." And we'd get talking and stay in contact, and yeah.
Do you still go out to a lot of comedy shows?
I try to, yeah.
Yeah. Where are some of your favorite spots to go?
Everyone's in London for the most part. So, they're not. They travel around, but if they're there, I'll go there. Because I'll try and, if I can, go to like maybe a couple of shows in a day and, maximize my time. Let me see. Lots of things. It's called the Event Time Apollo, Hammersmith Apollo. Loads of American comedians go there, and Soho Theatre, amazing. I love it. O2 Arena and loads of other places around London. Just Leicester Square Theatre, Museum of Comedy. Everywhere.
You ever go to Bill Murray? That was the
yeah. I've done things.
I love that spot. Yeah. That was where
I've done some interviews there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was where I had the Left at Wall screening, and I did a couple sets there. Yeah, I like that spot a lot. London is just an amazing city for stand-up, as you know. But yeah, I just love London. And then Backyard's like another one of my favorite spots. If you've ever been to Backyard
Comedy Club,
yeah, that's a really cool spot. I wandered in there almost accidentally. When it was kind of a crazy, like my wife and I landed in London, and it was direct from LA, and we were just on like a vacation, but it was we weren't even sure what time it was because it was just so cloudy, and it was like that London weather where we were like, what is it, morning? What's happening? And so we realized it was like 3 p.m, but to us it was like morning. We literally just walked into like we couldn't check into our Airbnb yet. We had to like just kind of wait around an hour. So we're like, well, let's just find a place to just post up and try to get a cup of coffee. And so we just go into the first establishment we see, and it's very clearly like a bar. And the guy's just like, he just sees these two people come in we have all this luggage, like, and he's just sort of like, okay. And we're like, hey, weird request, but do you mind, could we get a cup of coffee? We just flew in from Los Angeles.
And
the guy's like, well, technically I'm not open yet, but I can throw a pot on if you just want to chill. Like we officially open at 4. It's okay if you just want to sit here. And we were like, dude, thank you so much. Like, we'll pay beer prices. We don't care. We just like whatever we need to do. And yeah, it was super cool. And then I'm noticing all these ping pong tables. I'm like, oh, cool. This is a ping pong bar. Then I notice all these flyers. Some have people who I know personally. Others are people who I certainly know who they are. And I'm like, this is a comedy club. I was like, we wandered into a comedy club.
Amazing.
Yeah, then my wife was just like, oh, geez, what are the odds? We wander into a comedy club first thing in London. And yeah, so anyway, and then I became friends with some of the people there. And yeah, it was quite a fun happenstance, I guess. Yeah. It's an amazing place. Well, what is to get kind of into some of the stuff going on in the world at large right now. One of the things I was wondering if you could kind of enlighten me on a little bit. You've been outspoken about just sort of changes at the BBC, and in particular when the I want to say Robin from Infinite Monkey Cage. Did I mess up his first name?
Robin,
I think I know we kind of discussed this offline a little bit, but or not offline, online, but not on air. It was via DM. But,
you messaged me, and then I printed it out and I read it in bed. So I was offline, and then I wrote down my response, and my receptionist then typed it out, and then someone scanned that and copied the text.
Yes, and then I got a fax. So yeah,
I don't have a phone, and so yeah.
So a combination of technologies, but we were communicating. Yes. And I got to see Infinite Monkey Cage when it came to LA many years ago. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know what it was. Friends of mine were going, and they were big fans, and they were like, this is a show that incorporates comedy and science, and the one dude is a comedian, and the other dude is a I forget his exact background, but he's a scientist of sorts. And
his exact background is he used to be in a band in the 1990s.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
they did a song called "Things Can Only Get Better" or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, and he's a very handsome fellow. So it's like he kind of has this like rock star look, but he's like a scientist going through these like deep concepts and stuff. It was a cool experience. So I saw that in Los Angeles, and that was my first and only exposure. And the next thing I hear is that Robin is leaving the BBC. Yeah. And apparently there's been this rightward shift at the BBC. And I was wondering if you could,
for a long time. Yes.
Yeah. I was wondering if you could kind of talk about that a bit as somebody who only has so much exposure to that being a continent away.
Sure. Okay. So Robin has been on my show twice. And I love him and his books, and I've seen him live several times as well. I saw him I saw him in London, and there was like a bunch of astronauts there, the Royal Albert Hall. It was a really great show. And so we've kept in contact for several years. And I'm guessing the reason you're bringing this up is because I was tagged in his resignation letter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I actually first saw it from you. I think you retweeted it. Well, Blue Sky. So, I don't know what they call that on repost, I guess, on Blue Sky. But I saw it on Blue Sky.
Whatever it is. Yeah. Still a retweet, isn't it?
I know. I would still say the same. Yeah.
Twitter doesn't exist anymore, so we can just steal it.
Right.
But so I was tagged in his resignation letter on Instagram. So I've had some people message me about it, and some saying, I didn't know you worked for Infinite Monkey Cage. And I said, I didn't either, which is good. So I've had to issue several press releases myself about my stance on the thing. But so I'm friends with Robin, and I knew it was going to happen. And I will say that I was thinking about this. I think the BBC is best when it's doing entertainment and specifically comedy. So I used to love their comedy in the 1980s and 90s and whatever. And if I'm going to watch something from the BBC, it's going to be one of their comedic outputs. Although I am actually at the moment watching The Night Manager starring Tom Hiddleston, which is very good so far, 3 episodes in. I would say that their news output is very, very biased to the point where they go out of their way to platform right-wing politicians, and that's kind of it. And their reporting on things is kind of like, really? Like they're not great.
So what is, from their perspective, what do they think is happening here right now? Because they know
awful. What's happening. They're just reporting it in the same way Fox News would.
Wow, that is really
my perspective. And I will say that I don't watch BBC News, and unless it's on in a hotel when I've got no choice. But
well, how are generally speaking, like how are the people responding to that? Because I think most of the world is terrified by what's happening in the United States. Yeah. So
we can see what's happening. I've seen the videos of what happened. Those people were murdered,
right?
In cold blood. They were murdered.
Yeah.
And we've seen that, and it's the same thing with America, right? So I have friends that live in different countries in Europe who come from America, and some of them are famous and whatever. And they're like, we're really worried that everyone hates us now because of what's happening. And it's like, no, you're not your president. You're not what your government is doing. You're an individual person, and tons of people didn't vote for this. right? And it's the same in the UK or anywhere else. There's so many people who are disgusted and horrified, and I've been reaching out to people just individually and, you know, just sending them my love. And, you know, some people are having like a super stressful day, which is really, really understandable at the moment. Just trying to let them know that I'm here and we see what's happening, and I will support you in any way I can. And yeah, but it's, yeah, the BBC isn't our only news. We have access to news from everywhere, and, you know, just kind of doesn't matter as much now because I get my updates just from people posting videos.
Right. Yeah.
I see what's happening. And then, you know, not just even one video, because, you know, it can be, you know, there's AI and stuff now, so you have to be more careful. But you know, I try and see as many angles of things and hear as many firsthand people that are on the site of things happening and try and make my own opinion rather than have a watered down version, which is obviously untrue or, you know, muddies the facts and things. So yeah, I'd suggest that people make their own minds up and don't let any billionaire owned media organization of any kind manipulate your thoughts.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, you know, I know, you know, I try not to be one of these people that views everything non-American through rose-colored glasses, because I know the rest of the world has its problems too. But I would like to think, or I think there should be, you know, because it is basically funded by the people, there should be some more accountability with something like the BBC or the CBC in Canada, you know, because it's just not, I mean, here in the US, we just have a corporate controlled, you know, free for all where, you know, the wealthiest can just do literally whatever they want. And, you know, I'm not saying I wouldn't expect that to some extent everywhere else, because, you know, I know the world we live in, but I would like to think there's at least a little bit more of a safeguard in places that have a structure like England in comparison. So it's really sad to hear that it's like they're going down this Fox News rabbit hole.
They're not quite that bad, but, you know,
sure.
I've for a long time kind of seen them more like an extension of the government's press department in a way.
Interesting.
You know, they're not that balanced, and they always try and maintain that they are, but they're not really. Mm-hmm. I'd say since 2016, there's been a lot of problems with them, and I've been on the BBC a lot. I've been on various radio stations, and I've been on BBC One a few times doing interviews and stuff, being interviewed. But yeah, I wouldn't at the moment. And yeah, I personally keep my distance. I don't have the app on my phone or anything like that.
Do you think that it might start shifting the other way and getting a little more balance? Because
they're trying to make it not shift that way at all.
Really? Why? Why do you think that is?
Well,
I mean, is it just like Farage and his cronies, or like what?
Yeah, they're definitely trying to push things in that direction.
Oh, geez. I mean, do they need some of us to come over and give a warning? Like, what? Like, it's like, you don't want to do that. Trust me.
I know, right?
Well, and I was going to bring this up. I appreciate, you know, because like I follow you on all the social media, and we're connected there, and you know, you have been, you know, very. I mean, we've all been outspoken as of recent, and you have too. But you always do. You know, the way you kind of make your post, it's kind of, even if I didn't know you, I would assume that you spent time in the U.S. based on the way you frame things. And you're just like, well, it's not, you know, it's Trump's America. It's not just,
of course,
you know, the U.S. or whatever. And as a United States, you know, I was born in the United States. I've lived in the United States my whole life. I do appreciate it when people say that. Like I appreciate that. I know, you know, that the intentions are very genuine, and it's seeing people, and I always see people as people and not as their government. I never generalize. And I think that's really important to do in the world, especially in times like these. All the time, but especially in times like these. That being said, though, and maybe it's kind of one of those, you're always going to be hardest on your own soil, you know. I think that there needs to be a reckoning here in the United States that we have kind of tolerated, quote unquote, ourselves to this point where, for a long time, people were like, this is not who we are. It's like, you know what? It's not who a lot of us as individuals are, but collectively, this is what the United States is, because this is a country built on genocide and slavery. Mm-hmm. This is a country that really has no political history. And again, I know that, you don't live in utopia. Nobody else does. But like, we have no kind of political catalyst to go by, because we've always just had this sort of banana republic that, over the years has had a few little course correctives that has basically been a Band-Aid. And so we just have really bizarre, clickbaity, devolving thought leadership that kind of just makes shit up as they go. And it's gotten us to this point. And we have this whole, well, you have the freedom to practice any religion you want. That's great. But you know what? When your religion says this group of people doesn't deserve to exist, you don't get to impose that on other people.
Yeah.
You don't get to like that doesn't get to be law. That's not your religious liberty, because you're infringing on other people's rights now. And we've just tolerated this bit by bit by bit by bit. So the frog boiled in the pot. And so anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get on a soapbox, but it's like one of those things. I think that there needs to be a reckoning here. And there needs to be a realignment.
So in regards to religion, I have friends of many, many religions, and I love all of them. My opinion is that have any religion you want and follow its rules if you want to, but they dictate how you live your life, not anybody else's.
Right.
And you shouldn't be able to impose that on anybody else. If your religion says you can't eat a certain thing, don't eat it. But, if someone else eats it, that's fine. And it's not the same thing at all, but it's kind of pineapple on pizza. That thing that dominates, it's not the same. I'm not comparing a religion to pineapple on pizza, but bear with me with this thought. I'm not. I'm so not. I'm not. I'm not. No. But so, Domino's Pizza or Pizza Hut, whoever it is, will always say, does pineapple belong on pizza, right? It belongs on my pizza if I want it. But people will go, no, it doesn't belong on pizza. But they'll try and apply that to everybody. Like, it just shouldn't. It's a blanket statement. Pineapple should not be on pizza. A better way of phrasing it is, it should or shouldn't be on my pizza. Have it available for everyone else. And in fact, it's kind of like crisps in the UK. You get these multi-packs. So there's ready salted and cheese and onion and salt and vinegar. Now, I'll lean towards I'll eat any of them, but I'll lean towards cheese and onion. If someone likes salt and vinegar, great. It means I'm more likely to have 2 packets of cheese and onion, right? All good. It's variety for everyone, any religion you want, love who you want, identify how you please, whatever it is, but that's you. That's your makeup of who you are. But, just respect who everyone else is, and we're all good. And try not to steal their Greenlands.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh, my God. I mean, the rest of the world.
Maybe Iceland, is it? I forget.
No, it's Greenland. He wants Greenland. Yeah.
No, but he did say Iceland as well. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think he mixed up the two. I don't think he.
As did I.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Well, you're not a world leader trying to take one of them over, so
that's rude.
You're allowed.
Could be.
Well, how many jobs do you want? You're in charge of designating A-listers. You have a show. You know.
Yeah.
You can't be a world leader too. Not this week.
I'd say help if I was though.
I'd vote for you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the first thing I'm doing is sending everyone a pineapple, and you can eat it or you can gift it.
You know what's awesome? So I love that you use that example. Pineapple is my favorite fruit. However, I would never put pineapple on pizza in a million years. Never. I mean, I have kind of a running joke about it. So like we live in a world where people can just make up their own facts now, and people do it a lot. And so I was like, well, I might as well embrace this. So the fact that I decided to choose is that pineapple on pizza was just never a thing. I mean, I don't judge. It just didn't happen, right? And so one time a friend of mine made her own pizza, and she sent a big group text to friends, and she was all proud of it. And she was just like, yeah, I made this, blah, blah, blah. There was pineapple on it. And everyone was like, oh, good job. And then I had to stick by my alternative fact selection. Yeah. So I had to contribute to the group text and go, what is this? Did you invent something? Why is pineapple there? And they were like, Ron, shut up. It's like, but yeah. But if people want to put pineapple on their pizza, all power to them. I would never do it, but all power. Yeah. I can't do, and this is just a random thing. I like onions.
Yeah.
Can't do it on pizza. I just can't. There's something about that flavor profile. I can't do onions on pizza.
Fun fact for you, I prefer onions raw.
I do too.
Spring onions, Spanish onions raw.
Yeah. I like, if I'm going to have onions on a burger, I would prefer it's like one of those raw rings, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like one of those. Yeah. I'm the same way. And then in a salad, those are like just perfect, like just crisp raw onions in it. Oh yeah, I'm with you. But cooked, I don't like it as much. And on a pizza, I just can't do it on a pizza. It's just one of those. Say, hey, pineapple, favorite fruit.
Yeah.
But on a pizza, I can't. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm like,
you know what it is? I really want to go to Hawaii, hence liking Lilo and Stitch, and I've just never been, and so I just live vicariously through pizzas that I'm not even sure if they eat.
Oh, I don't know if they do. I don't know if they eat Hawaiian. Yeah, I mean,
wasn't it invented in Canada or somewhere?
I think it was invented in Canada. Yeah. Which is like so funny. Like, they do actually like Spam in Hawaii. That is something.
That's true.
They do eat a lot of that in Hawaii. Hawaii is, I mean, food there is very expensive because it's, just an island. So food is very, very expensive. But I remember when I was up there, the most amazing thing that I guess is pretty obvious, but it's like all the fresh fish you would get and all like the poke and all the, and then of course the pineapple. I mean, you could just get fresh pineapple everywhere. And it was, I mean, the best pineapple you've ever tasted, or the best pineapple I've ever tasted. And it's, you should go. I mean, that's,
I want to go. I do.
You should definitely go. I mean, it's, this is not the time to be traveling to anywhere in the States.
Why?
But
I'm deleting all my news apps. What's happened?
Things are weird. It's a weird time. You might want to, but Hawaii is sort of its own thing. Like going to Hawaii. Yeah, technically you're going to the United States, but that kind of doesn't count. It's like. So I think you'd be fine taking a trip to Hawaii whenever.
Yeah, that's true.
Although
I nearly went when I lived in LA. I did nearly go. We didn't get a lot of vacation time. I think I got like 10 days off, which is probably normal. But in England, you get several months or something. I don't know. But I nearly did go one weekend, but it was too expensive at the time, and I just didn't. And I haven't been, but I still want to.
Yeah, no, you totally should. Well. In closing, then, since we kind of got onto just the state of the world and whatnot, where do you? I got two questions to kind of close out here. Where do you find your hope, if you have any, and what does it mean to you to be creatively fulfilled?
Okay, so where do I find my hope? So very simply, I hope that there's better people in charge, and I hope that everyone has access to healthcare and just enough money to live and a roof over their heads, and they're just safe and accepted. And I hope that for everyone around the world, no matter which country they live in, no matter which religion they are or anything like that, or who their president or their prime minister is. I hope that everyone just has peace. And life is short, and I think we should learn from history, try not to repeat it, and, just shine brightly whoever you are and live your best life following your dreams and not ruining anybody else's. And, if someone else is enjoying a pineapple and you don't like one, just be grateful you don't have it, and they're getting rid of it for you. And I get hope from people that make a stand when they don't need to. people that, they'll use their speech to speak about inequality or something terrible that's happened in the world. I get hope from people just living their lives. It's hard. It can be overwhelming when you read the news every day. It's like, oh my God, we're on the verge of World War III constantly. And I've been thinking that for a long time, but it's fine. But, just anyone that gets up and still chooses to be a good person when people are rewarded for being bad, they're rewarded for being bigoted and hated, and they get book tours and get featured on the radio and TV every day for just saying terrible, untrue things. When there's people still standing up and they're filling the streets and they're protesting and they're just caring for each other, that gives me hope. I believe that the people at their very nature are good, and I believe that people can be manipulated into doing or believing bad things. And I also believe that we collectively achieve more good than bad, and we collectively overcome bad things. Think of any bad person on the planet, they've been stopped at some point. They're known to be bad people. And I believe that all the people doing bad things now, one day won't be. And that gives me hope too. Does that answer that question?
Absolutely. That was a beautiful answer. Thank you.
And I hope you press record. And
don't worry, we're rolling.
Yeah. I have no choice. It's my primary form of transport is rolling. And it's terrible, but it's true. And then your other question was,
what does it mean to you to be creatively fulfilled?
I never am, and I always am. So by that I mean I have an idea, and it's always when I've gone to bed, and it's always at like 4:00 in the morning, and I'm like, I should go to bed now because I'm kind of on American time. 99% of my guests are in America, and so I'll have an idea, and I'll get back up, and I'll start writing it or planning it or drawing it or whatever it is, and I'll keep working on that thing until it's done. And they kind of say that art is never done, and it's true. I could keep drawing somebody forever, or drawing what's outside my window forever. I could keep adding detail to that and capturing new things. But you kind of feel when it's done, or it's done enough. And it's like, this could be perfect, but it's perfect enough for me. This is what I want to show the world. And even if I do an interview and it's not perfect and I mess a question up, or it doesn't go the right length, or whatever happens, that is also kind of a lesson in itself, which is great. And you don't get annoyed about that. You just think, next time I'm going to make sure, as I just said jokingly, press record. I have had a situation where I didn't, and I know that now. I always check, like I'm paranoid. Like in any interview, I check 1 billion times. I press record. I did notice during that interview, by the way, but I was 2 questions in. Terrible. Creatively fulfilled, I would say, if I'm happy with it, then that has to be it. I've expressed the thing I've tried to. If it's a joke and like it's amused me enough, then it doesn't need to make everyone laugh, but if it makes some people laugh, great. And if I draw something and it resonates with someone else, fantastic. But I've at least expressed the thing that was in my heart and my mind to do, and hopefully other people enjoy it. And I'm of the opinion that there is an audience for everything, and you'll, just keep being true to what you want to do, like I have with my show. And I know sometimes I'll interview a first-time director or a comedian that isn't that well known in other places, or a first-time author. And I give everyone the same amount of time. So I normally spend about a week working on everything, researching everything and all that kind of stuff. And I'll put the same care and attention into every edit and everything that I do. But I know that some interviews will get 10,000 views and some will get 5 views. But it doesn't matter, because I also know, because I saw the brilliance in that person when I invited them on my show. I know they're going to do well. I invited a first-time author, and it was the first interview they'd ever done in their life. They'd genuinely never done one before. And now they're a multi-time New York Times bestselling author. They've commissioned multiple books to be turned into feature films. And I love that. I love when I post an interview and it just sits there and a few people watch it. Maybe they've shared it with their friends, their family, 40, 50 people watch it. And then like in a year, 1,000 people watch it and then 10,000 people watch it. I love that. I love seeing their success on a time delay in my interviews. And being creatively fulfilled means expressing myself and helping celebrate other people and, just nurturing an industry that I love and celebrating it and hopefully contributing to it in a way that's meaningful and helps educate people or makes people laugh or just entertains people enough one day when they've had a crappy day and it just takes their mind off stuff so that their life's slightly less bad.
Well, where can people go to find out more about you and find the show?
So I will write it on bus stops and you'll find it. Post-it notes under cinema chairs. You check all of them. It is there. So you can go to YouTube, type in Sarah O'Connell Show, and you'll hopefully find me and hundreds of interviews. I'd love it if you take the time to smash that subscribe button, which doesn't make any sense in my head, but click on it or tap on it, depending on how you interact with the internet. And you'll find hundreds of interviews with actors and directors and comedians and authors and musicians and Guinness World Record breaking competitive Vitas and lots of amazing people in between. And you'll find people that you love that you've seen on TV or wherever. And you'll find people that perhaps you don't know. But in watching them, you'll go, hey, their book sounds interesting. I want to check it out. Or if you're thinking, I want to get into acting or singing, you'll find out about people's first auditions, a comedian's first time on stage, a musician's first demo tape, all that kind of stuff. Plus the story of their life from their first project to their blockbusters in cinemas. And yeah, check it out if you want to.
Sarah, thanks so much for doing this.
Ron, thank you for inviting me on your podcast. I love it. I love you. I love your work and your comedy and your films and documentaries, everything that you work on and your plays and all your creative stuff that you're doing. And I wish you continued success with it.
That was Sarah O'Connell. Seriously, check out her show. She is such an incredible interviewer. And that's why she's had people ranging from, unknown artists to some of the biggest celebrities in the world. So yeah, check it out over on YouTube. Music for the 1000 Podcast is provided by Andrew Saxon. Be sure to check out his podcast, the Baywatching Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Please do make sure you're subscribed to this show. Leave us a 5-star review. Tell your friends. That helps get the word out. And if you want to support this show on the sustainability end, again, patreon.com/Ron Flacone. We got the patrons only Zoom show coming up on Saturday where I'm going to do an official preview of Anti-Fascist Pasta Night, my new stand-up show. So you can join all that for a Give What You Can level, patreon.com/Ron Flacone. All right, 127. 27. It's always an interesting number, the 27 Club. And I know I mentioned that when we were on episode 27, which I feel like that was a week ago. Now we're 100 episodes past that. Man, this show really makes you feel how fast time goes. It really does. Catch you next week. Peace. Hey guys, Ron Flacone here. Take your own 1,000 challenge. No, you don't need to interview 1,000 people, although if you want to do that, go for it. Your 1,000 challenge can be whatever you want. Maybe you want to call a friend out of the blue once a week. Maybe you want to read a book every month. Maybe you want to start a different garden every season. I guess that might be dependent on where you live. Look, the point of the challenge is taking on an endeavor that enriches your life in some way, and it can be measured. And then, of course, you do it regularly. That's what 1,000 is doing for me and hopefully for you too. The main reason for this podcast and every podcast I've ever done is to build community. So take your own challenge. Then join our Facebook group. It's called 1,000 What's Your Challenge? ? That's 1,000 What's Your Challenge ? And post about what your 1,000 challenge is and the progress you're making. All I ask is that people be encouraging of each other's challenges. This is personal and vulnerable, so be cool. There's enough negativity on social media. We don't need to add to it. For those of you who aren't on Facebook, hopefully in the future we'll be expanding to places like Discord, Reddit, but for now, we're starting on Facebook. And again, that Facebook group is called 1,000 What's Your Challenge? See you there.